For this presentation, I'm going to talk about preparing for a career and getting a job. You have to make a decision about your career and your job. Obviously, most adults need a full-time job, which is 40 hours a week, 2,000 hours a year. A job or an occupation is work that people engage in to earn pay. A career is a work history of one or more jobs in the same or related fields of interest. So a career is multiple jobs. Your interests are your favorite activities. They could lead to a career that you would enjoy. You want to pursue a career that is interesting to you, so you can work with a more happy demeanor. And you also want a job that shares the same values as you, or your beliefs or ideas by which you live. They help you make all kinds of decisions related to work and your social life. Your skills. A skill is a proficiency for performing a task that is developed through training and experience. One of your abilities is something that you naturally have, so you're just born with. Aptitude is your potential for learning a skill, and your personality is the set of characteristics that make someone special. So having good aptitude is key for a job, so you can easily learn new things. Developing a career plan. You need to find information on careers in order to get a job. So there are multiple sources you can learn about careers. The first is written sources. The Occupational Outlook Handbook describes hundreds of jobs, and it has lists of fast-growing jobs and steady jobs, everything that you need to know. Career counselor. You can hire a career counselor who is trained to provide information and help you choose a career. Networking is the practice of building informal relationships with people, and basically being friends with them can help you with your career. Also, shadowing real jobs in internship or volunteering, or even job shadowing. You basically follow another worker around for a few days or a month or however long you're set to, and you firsthand learn about that career or that job. The working world, there's a career ladder. So basically you start off with an entry-level job, which is like the first job you can get, and you work your way up in a business. A lot of businesses, what they do is they outsource, which is using outside sources to do tasks traditionally handled by internal staff. So currently in America, we outsource to China a lot. The role of supply and demand affects pay and amount of job opportunities. If there's a job in high supply, then the demand is low. But if there's a high demand for the job, that would assume the supply is low. And the lower the supply, the more that job will potentially make. You have to plan out your career. Most jobs you need to graduate high school, so you need a high school diploma. But just graduating and not going any further than that narrows down your job market. So after high school, you may want to enroll in college or a technical school, or some sort of training plan so you can be certified or get more degrees. And then you need to build experience at different jobs. So you need to have a decent history of jobs to prove you can actually work. And then once you're comfortable with your job, you need to set goals within that job to work your way up and potentially make more money. Next is finding a job. First, you need to know what your employer needs. Like, for example, a hospital needs doctors, nurses, cooks, janitors, supervisor, administrators. So basically, if you don't know what jobs there are, you're going to have trouble finding a job. Once you find that job, there is almost always qualifications and skills that need to be met. Qualifications are education, skills, and work experience that are necessary to do a job. So your past history, proving yourself, would show that you're qualified. Your skills are just basic skills that you need to get a job. Usually these are called employable skills because you use them while you have a job. Your level of education is important. Whether you just graduate high school, college, what degree you got in college, the higher degree you get, usually your job market opens dramatically. Basic skills, almost everybody needs. You need to know how to do math and communicate with people, work in groups even sometimes. Leadership qualities is usually good characteristics of what employers look for. Work experience, you need to, after a while you'll build a work history, and you need to show that you have skills that you have proven through a job, and it's tangible evidence that you can function in the workplace. And last is your character and your personality. You need to have good character traits and potential employers will be looking for. And you have to have a good attitude toward the work, because a good attitude and good characteristics make for a good work environment, which in most cases increases productivity. Within your character and personality, you need to just watch out for your body language, because a lot of people can interpret your character by the way you carry yourself, your posture, eye contact, facial expression, gestures, and your school performance also reflects on your character along with extracurricular activities. And this goes toward your overall impression to an employer, which they will be pretty much is what your job is. Getting a job is going to depend on is the impression you make with your employer. Finally, searching for a job. You need to prepare a resume after assessing the job market. And a resume is a summary of your skills, education, and work experience, and it tells an employer what you can offer as a worker. Basically, it's to persuade the employer to interview you, and it gives them a first impression of you. For example, if your resume is messy and full of mistakes, they'll assume you are messy and unorganized and incapable of doing a job if you can't simply put a resume together. And you're supposed to put a resume together chronologically. It's supposed to be in order by time. And it includes 5 parts. It has a heading, which is just the basic name, address, phone number, and then your job objective, which is the job that you are hoping to obtain. Next is a skills summary, which is different characteristics you feel like you show in the workplace. Work experience, which is listed in order from most recent to least recent. And then finally is your previous education. So once you have a resume, you need to contact potential employers. So you need to apply for jobs, which could be as simple as submitting a cover letter, filling out an application, taking an employment test, and being interviewed. A cover letter simply is, it just tells your employer about you and why you're applying for a job. A job application is a printed sheet with blank spaces that you fill in to apply for a job. So basically you're giving the information that the employers need for you to have a job. And then finally, if all this goes good, you will get a job interview, which is the most important part of getting a job. It's a formal face-to-face discussion between employers and potential employees. This is where they make their hiring decisions, so you need to make a good impression here. You need to dress well, shake the employer's hand, make a good impression, basically prove yourself to your future employer.